So, last time on Learning Python with Doug, we coded a simple tic-tac-toe game that allowed user input and checked for win states. And we had some discussion of how the code worked and the objects and the what were some of the other words we learned?
Well, you learned functions, how to do looping, and
Mm-hmm.
how to do conditional code. And then, yes, we created a tic-tac-toe game that
Mm-hmm.
brought that in. And the tic-tac-toe game, that code, we're going to reuse and bring it into Cosmos today. So we're going to start to learn about how to write code in Artemis Cosmos by building off that basic Python stuff that we learned last time and bring it in and put it up on the one of the main screens here where you in this area where when you select a mission, we're going to put a tic-tac-toe game here and play it.
Okay, sounds exciting.
All right.
So we're going to learn how you make a script for Artemis in that process too.
Yeah, we're going to start to learn Artemis scripting and
Okay.
some of the nuances and differences of running code in Artemis.
Okay.
All right. So here we have the code from last time. We had our full game running in the console, and we're going to take our board. Let's just go into File Explorer and copy that code. We're just going to take the board.
So this is our board.py, was it?
Board.py.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the desktop, which is actually where we have Artemis installed, going into missions, and then we're going to, well, we already have a copy of the finished code. We'll maybe look at that later, but we're going to start a new one and call it TTT for Tic-Tac-Toe underscore main.
All right. So this is tic-tac-toe on main screen.
Yep. And we're going to put our board in there. But with Artemis, you don't run Artemis and say run this .py file.
Okay.
You create a mission folder, much like you did if you ever did XML coding before.
Mm-hmm.
You create a mission folder, and then you put in there a special file that Artemis looks for.
Okay.
And that file is called script.py. But what we're going to do is we're going to just open this up in Visual Studio Code like we did last week.
Okay.
And then we'll do it in there. So we're going to do File, Open Folder.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to navigate out to our desktop, find our location for the missions directory, and our, oops, I went to the wrong place. That's the old version. Confused there for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then
So this is
our
TTT main.
TTT main. And then we have our nice clean directory that has our board file in there. And we're going to create script.py.
Script.py, and
Yeah.
Artemis Cosmos is always going to look for that file in any mission you point to when selecting a mission, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only way to get a mission to go in Artemis is to point to a script.py somewhere.
Okay.
When the game releases, there'll probably be a lot of ones that come with the game. But the engine itself is built to do a lot of the rendering and a lot of the movement and other logistics of the game in C++, and then all the scripting and mission, everything will be done with Python.
Okay. So we're creating.
Hit enter.
And we are now on line 1 of script.py.
Yeah. So like I said,
And what we'll want to do with this script, because Artemis is going to grab this sucker as soon as we've selected it and said run, and we want it to say, we want to play tic-tac-toe.
right, and it doesn't run the Python. It runs the Python file, but Artemis is looking for a bunch of what I'll call entry points.
Okay.
Usually, when you run a program, it has one entry point.
Mm-hmm.
Some languages call that main.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, where it enters and it starts the program and it goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
What Artemis does, it'll load your script, but then it will look for specific functions to call for specific states that the engine is in.
Okay.
Some of that is when the simulation ticks.
Okay.
Every 1 second, it'll be called.
Okay.
The one that we're going to learn about today, though, is the very first one, which is called handle present GUI.
Okay.
And it has a sister function called handle present GUI message.
Okay. And that is built into Artemis.
It's built into Artemis.
Okay.
It's the very first thing. When you click that button on a
Mm-hmm.
mission script,
Mm-hmm.
it will open your script and try to run that. And if it doesn't have it, let's try that right now. Run Artemis and try to run our TTT main mission.
Okay. So
This
is Artemis.
That's Artemis there.
Alright, Artemis is running, and we're going to start a server, and we're going to find TTT main.
Yep. And so
And
you're getting an error because the script has no attribute
Handle present GUI. Okay, so
And note the way that it's capitalized and things like that, because we need to make make a function called that so that we can get around this error.
there's an error message.
There's an error message.
Wow, in the old XML code, we didn't get that. We just got a crash, and we had to reboot all the machines.
Well, this is a crash, but at least you have an error message that tells you why it crashed. Okay, so let's hit enter a few times.
Hit enter a few times. Here, get a little space.
And you're going to define.
So def.
Def. Yep, this is a function we're defining. Handle present.
HANDLE with a capital H.
Yep.
Present.
Yep, with a capital P.
With a capital P, and GUI
Yep.
with capital GUI.
Yep. And it takes a
a
parameter.
It's expecting, yes.
And it's going to be the simulation that we get.
Okay.
So we just abbreviate that SIM. So
SIM.
This is the engine giving you access to the game simulation.
Okay.
And we'll be able to do a lot of things with that, but today we're not going to do much with that. But it's expecting an argument to be there, so we have to put it in there. And then put a colon at the end. And then hit enter.
Hit enter, and
then let's just type the word pass.
PASS. So
pass is a special keyword in Python that says something's supposed to be here, but it's not here, and I know it's not here. So I'm giving it a pass.
But this will stop us from getting that error message because we now do have a handle present GUI. It doesn't do anything.
That's correct.
Except pass.
I believe we will now not crash. We can't start our simulation or anything.
Right,
like
because
that.
it doesn't do anything, but it won't crash now.
Right. So let's try that.
All right. Can we go back down to here? Relaunch Artemis. Start server. TTT main. And we can select it. It doesn't do anything, but it also does not crash.
But the good thing about this, though, is that we now can put whatever we want. Well, within the limits of what the engine provides.
Mm-hmm.
There are different ways of putting text up there, buttons up there, sliders. Click on simple test again.
Simple test.
So,
oh, look at that. I could make it harder. I could make it less hard. And what does this one do?
It's just a horizontal versus
It's
a vertical
horizontal slider.
And there's buttons there. The make harder is a button.
Oh, make harder is a button, I see.
Oh, it's a checkbox, sorry.
It's a checkbox.
And don't hit start mission. But look up here,
Exceptionally simple mission designed to help scripters understand the system. Okay.
That is something that the script put up there. It put it in that position.
Mm-hmm.
It said what text to put up there. In Artemis 2, you had text, and it was fit into a certain box.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you got. One descriptive text.
Mm-hmm.
With this, not only could you present this one screen,
Mm-hmm.
but you could actually have buttons to navigate to multiple pages of information. So you could have options. You could have multiple pages of narrative if you wanted to.
Interesting. Okay.
All this
That's
is
exciting.
in sort of the pre-game scenario.
Okay.
And we're not going to do this today, but you could do similar things on the client screen, all in this, what is called the pause state of the simulation.
Okay.
And it's not this pause state, we're doing it now because the simulation starts paused,
Mm-hmm.
but you can pause the simulation while you're playing, and you can get to that. And you
Okay.
may want to even have it at the option as, even after they started the game, to have different options, or let them allow them to change certain options on the fly afterwards. It's all up to the scripters on what is presented here and how to use it, not only at the beginning of the game, but also during the game. And also, this is how you present the end game.
So if I pause, it pauses the simulation. It pops out to here
Correct.
and leaves the simulation in a frozen state.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And you have the opportunity to end the game and pause the simulation and go out here. It's up to you as a scripter to know that the game ended, so that you can present the GUI for the appropriate end game, which might be how many things were destroyed, or whatever your mission script has, meaningful information. I'm sure the game will come with a pre-canned way of presenting similar stats that they had at the end of Artemis 2, but this one will allow you to extend that or completely replace that if you wanted to.
So if I go into a pause state on the server, it goes into a pause state on all the clients.
It does, yeah.
So if
I don't know if it triggers that on the clients. I think the clients are still active, but they can go to a pause state. And it may be that maybe we'll be able to force the clients into a pause state. I don't know. Can't do that currently, but that might be an option that gets added if it's needed.
But if I do use this in a mission that has multiple player ships involved,
Yes.
and I go to the pause state
Yeah.
to have some kind of interaction dialogue, all the ships are going to be in the pause state.
Yes. Because
Okay.
all the ships are in one simulation.
Got it.
Good question. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually go out and we're going to start coding
TTT main,
TTT main.
which is right now just a pass.
Yeah. So let's just put something on the screen just like we saw in Simple Test.
So should I close Artemis or
You can
just
close Artemis
leave it
now,
running?
yeah.
All right, I'll just X out of it.
Probably leave it running.
Oh,
But
wow,
let's just.
it's easy to start it.
So
It launches so much faster than Artemis 2.8 did.
so the first thing you want to do is you want to go up to the top.
All right,
That's why we left some little space. And we're going to import.
import.
Last week we were importing our board and other things. We're going to import some of the non-simulation engine things.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe that. But there's a namespace or a module called SBS for Spaceship Bridge Simulator. Rather than type out all that, and we thought it was nice, or Tom thought it would be nice to just have 3 letters, SBS.
Okay, so I want to import the SBS. Okay.
Now, SBS is, no parentheses.
Oh. It was
SBS says it can't be resolved, and that's because our editor doesn't know that. And Python itself doesn't know what SBS is.
Okay.
SBS is a module that's specific to Artemis.
Okay.
So in our editor here, we're always going to get this little warning.
Okay. But and if we were just trying to run it in a Python compiler, it would freak out.
Yeah, it would say module SBS is undone.
In Artemis, import SBS is A-OK.
That's correct. So let's go down to our handle present GUI.
Okay. And instead of pass, we're going to actually do something.
That's correct. So let's type SBS dot.
Oh, SBS dot. Oh, SBS comes with a lot of goodies, huh?
That's right.
Okay.
So send underscore GUI clear, all lowercase. This is Python.
Oh, it's
snake case.
The underscore, the GUI in this case is lowercase.
Yes.
All right.
But it's actually Pythonic
It's Pythonic.
to have functions named lowercase with underscore. They call that snake case.
Okay.
So another underscore in the word clear. And then parentheses 0.
Okay, so I have just called from SBS send GUI clear with the parameter of 0, and send GUI clear is something Artemis knows, and what does it do?
What that does is it clears the GUI screen.
Okay.
And it does it on client 0.
Okay, so
and client 0 is the main screen.
Okay, so that 0 is where I'm clearing the GUI.
Yeah.
Got it.
And it has a client ID, and outside of the scope of this discussion, when clients connect, they will give you a client ID. You'll be able to understand what type of console they select and all sorts of other things. I'm not going to talk about that today.
Okay.
But you will.
But that's all going to come in the package SBS.
Yes, but you'll also get messages. That's another handler. That's another entry point.
Okay.
There's a handle client connect, I believe it's called.
Okay.
And we're not going to do anything with that
today
or for a while.
Okay.
Actually, we might do it in the next one because we might do a tic-tac-toe where the main screen plays with a client screen.
Okay.
Depends on where we go. But for now, just know that you will get an ID, and that will represent what client it is. And 0 is the main screen. The main screen
where you're selecting the missions.
So it's the server
main screen. It's the server main screen. Yes, because there could be other main screens.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. It's the server. Yeah. Okay, so let's put something on the screen.
Okay. So another line.
Another line.
And what are we going to do?
SBS dot send underscore GUI text.
Underscore text?
Yes.
Okay.
Parenthesis. And again, we're going to pass what client we want to put this on. So this is 0.
And
we want to put the text, a comma, sorry.
Oh, 0, comma?
Yeah. And then we want the text. So let's do the classic hello world.
So quote.
Quote, hello world.
Hello world.
And then after the quote, we're going to put another comma, and we're going to put another string. And this string is called the tag.
Okay.
It represents this component that we're putting on the screen. This is how we're going to name it. So that we'll later get to use this. But it's a way for the system to know when we get messages or other things on how we can talk to this specific piece of text. So let's call this underscore, or just put in quotes, hello. That's its tag.
In quotes, hello. Okay. So hello world is tagged hello.
Yeah. And now we got to put it somewhere on the screen. And it's kind of important to understand how the layout is done in Artemis. It's done in percentages.
Ah, so it scales with any dimension screen.
Yeah.
Percentage vertical, percentage horizontal.
Yeah.
From the upper left
Yeah.
is the origin, okay?
So we're going to put it in percentages of from 0 to 100, and we're going to put it a top and a bottom.
So comma, and then I put the percentages within these parentheses because I'm sending all of this, correct?
Yeah, and we're going to put 4 values. Those 4 values are the top left and the bottom right locations in percentages.
Okay, got it.
So let's just try
so
50, 50. So 50%,
50, comma 50. So it'll be the
in
center
the middle
of the screen.
center screen.
Comma, and then something below that and to the right of that.
60, 60.
60, comma 60.
And that should be it. We should now be able to see Hello World on the screen.
Okay, so we will launch Artemis again and start a server. Start server. TTT main.
Go ahead.
I did. Hello World, and the upper left corner, the H is right in the middle of the screen.
And you notice it probably didn't fit, so it wrapped around. The other thing you may not have noticed, I don't know, when you click the button there, it took a little time. And that's because this present GUI is not running on the main render loop, it's running every 1 second.
Okay.
So there may be some delay from whenever you interact with these things. And then, we're using early version of that, but it may be like that in the final release. This is not intended to be the fastest GUI. It's supposed to be able to just let you get that up there. But that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
We have complete control over what gets presented on the screen.
That is amazing.
Want to add a button?
Sure, let's add a button. I'm going to close Artemis again. So, do we do that through present GUI?
We do.
Okay.
Because what we're doing here is present GUI is being called every 1 second.
Okay.
And we are actually clearing the screen and putting that text up every second.
Okay.
We'll talk about a way of not clearing it when you don't need to later.
Okay.
But every second it's clearing the screen and putting Hello World up. And it comes around in another second, it's doing the same thing again.
Okay.
All right. So to put a button up, what do you think it is?
Well, I would probably think it is SBS, maybe send button, but I hope it's not put but.
No, you're close. It's send GUI button.
Send GUI button. Okay.
And it's
SBS
it's very similar because
dot send GUI button. Okay, and I'm going to have to define what's, and I'm setting it to 0.
Yep.
And I'm going to have to define probably there's probably going to be some text in the button.
Yep.
Maybe it's got a color or other things I pass to it.
No color, no.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that'll get added.
Maybe. All right.
Maybe this video is already outdated, but right now it's very similar to the text, which takes text and a tag.
Okay. So how about our button is
push me.
Push me. Okay. Push me, and then the tag is push.
Push, sure.
And that has to be in quotes.
Yep.
And then I have to
try to put it in the lower right corner.
All right, lower right corner. Well, not too far because we're not able. I guess we would be able to see it.
Because it's percentage.
Because it's percentage. So let's say 85. And $99.99. You think that'll work?
I don't know. Why don't you give it a try?
Okay. And now,
Go ahead.
push me will be displayed in the button, but if I'm checking to see if the button is pushed, it'll be something that comes back in push, right?
Yeah. Actually,
Okay.
I was going to make an error occur to show you that. But okay.
All right, so let's see. We're going to start a server. TTT main, and there's a button that says push me,
Why don't you push it?
and I'll push it. And no attribute handle present GUI message. Oh. Okay, so there aren't enough attributes to my button.
Well, no, it's not your button. It's
Oh.
We need another handler function.
Hmm.
Just like handler present GUI, we need to handle present GUI message.
Okay.
So whenever something that you interact with the GUI occurs,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to know about that as a scripter,
Mm-hmm.
the engine is going to call handle present GUI message.
Okay. So I'm going to click OK, which will crash the server. So where do I put my handle present GUI message?
Well, just at the same scope as handle present GUI, which means you need to unindent.
Yep. So back there and def handle present
It's capital GUI
UI.
and capital M. I have to try to convince Tom to make these snake case, but
And then it's another sim.
it is a sim and actually something else. So
Oh, something else. Sim,
Here.
comma something.
yeah, you're gonna get that tag back. So how about
Push.
No, call
No.
it like message underscore tag. We don't know it's gonna be.
Oh,
push.
you're right.
It could be many things.
So,
And then you get another thing,
mhm.
which is the client ID.
And that's going to be 0.
Well, you're getting it in a
Oh,
variable.
I'm getting it in a
You're
variable.
going to be told which client pushed the button. Because we're the server, and actually this is kind of like, even the clients are going to send their messages back to the server, back to the
Got it.
script. So you have complete control over what happens on all the clients when it comes to this.
All the clients and all the ships.
Yeah,
So that could be a lot of clients interacting with my script.
yeah. So
Okay.
let's for now just put in, you got your colon, so you got to finish that so we don't have an error, and put pass on the next line like we did before. So now
Okay,
we should
and
be
it
able
likes
to
pass.
we should be able to push that button, and it
And
won't do anything.
anything, but it won't error.
Correct.
Let's launch Artemis, and we're going to go to a server and TTT main. Hello world, push me. And no error. Excellent.
All right. So now we're going to talk about state and,
Okay.
and handling state changes.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to make the hello world text change when we hit push me.
Okay.
So
So when I receive from client 0 a message tag that is from the push,
yeah.
I want to do something.
Yes.
All right. So how do I do that?
So first of all, we need to like understand what state the present GUI is in.
Okay.
So we need a variable to figure that out.
Okay.
So why don't we go up here and define a variable called
DEF.
no, it's
No.
it's just a variable. The whole it's a variable, so we're just gonna say GUI underscore state.
Or should I not capitalize that?
It
because
can
of
be all
the snake,
lowercase. Yeah, snake case it.
snake case it. GUI state.
Set it equal to first. I don't know. I'm sorry, the string first.
Oh,
We're going to keep track of the state as a string.
we're keeping track of the state as a string. So,
We could do that with an enum like we did in the board. We're just going to use a string here just to speed things up.
Okay.
So now go into our handle present GUI, and now put an if in front of all that.
In front of this one,
All of
the
our
button.
code. All of our code.
So an if up here.
Yeah.
If state equals
GUI,
first.
GUI underscore state double equals first.
Okay.
Put a
So-
colon. And now we want to make all those things part of that. So select all those
Indent.
lines and hit tab.
Okay.
So now we made a block underneath there.
So if state equals first, do all that stuff and do it once every second.
Well, actually now, let's say that in the if block, at the end, set the GUI state to, I don't want to say pause, but say none. GUI state equals none.
Okay. Okay, so it's going to run once. And then it'll be set to 1, and that if will no longer be true.
Right. What do you think that'll do?
It will stop it from clearing and printing and setting that button all the time. But the message will still be there, and the button will still be there.
That's very good. Exactly. That's actually correct.
Okay.
So that way, we're not recreating the GUI every time now.
Okay.
So handle present GUI will still be called every 1 second, but now it won't do anything else. It won't clear everything, so everything will still be there. Let's make
Okay.
a elif.
Okay, so back at this level,
Yep.
ELIF.
If GUI state equals second. No, I'm sorry.
ELIF.
It's
yeah.
elif.
GUI state equals if GUI state equals second, colon, and what kind of stuff's it going to do?
Let's try. I think this will work.
Oh, wait.
Grab your
I need an equal there.
yeah. Grab your set GUI text. Just the set GUI text. Just that line you're on now. Grab that whole line. I think this will work. Let's try it and see.
I want it to say goodbye world.
Goodbye world. I was going to say let's play. With anything you want there. Just make it different.
All right. And that's going to be play.
No.
No, it's still going to be
Leave
hello.
it hello.
All right.
Because what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to change the text of hello. I think that'll work.
Okay.
And then set your GUI state back to none again.
And then GUI state equals none. Now, we'll need something that sets it to equal second, possibly the clicking of the button.
Yeah, but I'm contemplating to change none to something else like post first, post second. How about we change the GUI state here in line 9 to underscore first?
Oh, all right.
We we still kind of don't do anything, and then we still know that it's a certain state, and then put underscore second on line 12. Because we actually are transitioning states there, so I want states. Maybe we could have called them first, second, third, and fourth, but we'll do this for now. All right, so now let's handle that button down there.
All right. What are we going to do here? We're going to change to...
Well, we're getting a message tag, so we're going to look for a specific tag.
All right.
And our tag we're most interested in is our button push.
Mm-hmm.
Its tag is called push.
Mm-hmm.
So, if message tag...
Oh, message tag. That's something new. If, M-E-S-S-A-G-E, and message tag is something it knows.
Well, it's because you put it there.
Oh, okay.
Remember that? So if message tag double equals underscore first. Oh, I'm sorry, push. Sorry.
Push. So in quotes?
Yeah. And then the word and. GUI state equals underscore first.
It's double equal, right?
Yeah.
Underscore,
Quote.
and that's a quote.
Yeah.
So if message tag is push, so if I've returned back that I'm in, the button is pushed and I'm in GUI state first,
Yeah.
I change my GUI state.
Yeah. So colon and then GUI state equals second. It's probably not the most optimal way of coding this, but we're doing this on the fly.
Right, we're doing it on the fly. That's
And that should be in quotes, but otherwise.
Oh, that's right.
And we might as well finish this by doing an else if or another if that
All right.
looks for underscore second and sets it back to first.
LF, GUI state, or message tag.
You can probably copy and paste all that and just modify it.
So I'm changing my if to an LF.
Sure.
And message tag equal push and GUI state equals second.
Yep.
Then,
Set it back to first.
and with no underscore.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, I used confusing names there, but okay. So it should toggle between Let's Play and Hello World if we did this correct.
All right. So let's, and we don't need to save like we used to in Artemis 2.8 and TTT main.
Whoa.
Oh, GUI state reference before assignment.
Okay, we forgot to do. All right, this is an opportunity. What we did is we created GUI state at global state, and then the function doesn't know about that. So we have to kind of let the function know about that. So at the before line 5, put global space GUI state.
Oh, interesting.
That says the name GUI state for this function is referencing one global state. And you need to do that in the other function as well. Does it make sense? Or am I going?
Yeah, I think I got it. So down here.
Yeah.
Look right?
Yep.
It's coming up on 9:30. TTT main. Hello world, push me. Let's play. Push me. Hello world. Let's play. Freaking awesome.
So we probably could have, let's try this as well. Let's close our, let's move our, copy our GUI the text.
Of all of this?
Yeah.
That?
Well, just the text.
Just the text.
The send GUI text.
Oh, got it.
And we're going to put those in the message instead.
Okay. Which is handle present GUI message.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put it in the if. So this should be in the elif.
In the elif. Okay.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, just paste it there. And just paste that up on ahead of line 17 and change it to let's play there.
Okay, so what have we just done?
Now I want you to comment out line 12.
All right. How do I comment out line 12, Doug?
You put a little hash shift 3 hash. Commenting in Python one character, it's a hash.
Okay.
So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it in present GUI message to show that you can still talk to the GUI elements in the present GUI message.
Okay.
So let's run that, make sure that I'm not lying.
Hello world, push me, let's play. All right, it's working now, and it's doing it in the present message instead of in the present GUI.
Yeah, so if you go back to code, the present GUI, you can do massive, you can clear the screen and present a whole new page. You can handle multiple clients there. But if you need to do the little changes like we just did, you could probably just do that in present GUI message.
Okay.
And that's, you know, it's using the tag, the hello in this case, is the tag, so it knows which text box to talk to set the text. Does that make sense? And that's kind of the cycle of presenting GUIs in a nutshell.
Okay.
In Cosmos.
Cool.
Do we have time to do the Tic-Tac-Toe game in?
I don't know, how much time does that take?
Well, it's that much code.
So
why don't we do this?
yeah.
Let's actually run it, because I think you already have it on your computer.
What, the tic-tac-toe code?
Yep. So
Okay.
run
Oops.
Artemis.
Oh, run Artemis. Okay.
And I think you have and run TTT GUI. I think you have
TTT GUI.
I think you have a version that has the bug.
Okay.
But here is
This is what it looks like.
this is what it looks like. So
Okay.
start clicking buttons. I think
I'm gonna put an X there.
your X is going to disappear if you select somewhere else.
Oh.
I'll go at 7. Yeah, see, your
Yeah.
text is disappearing. This is a bug in the original version, and let's fix that, and then we can look at the code rather than go through and write all this code.
Okay.
I'll let you
So I'll place
look at
another X. Yeah.
We'll
And
explain the code. You can look at it and digest the code rather than
Okay.
kind of sit here and walk through it. So
right, so let's close this.
let's in Visual Studio Code now. Let's open up the
TTT.
TTT GUI code.
Okay. So file, open file.
Open folder.
Oh, open folder. Oops.
Let's take a look at the whole folder. what we were going to do is stitch all this up, but
Okay, so TTT GUI.
yeah, this is the finished product. You select the folder. And now, like Julia Childs, we're going to pull the turkey out of
Yes,
the
I
oven.
trust the authors.
And so we have the board, which is similar, if not the same board as yours.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have script. So let's look at that script.
Script.py. All right.
It's a little more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see the handle present GUI
Mm-hmm.
and handle present GUI message. Just like in the console one we did last week, there's a render and an update phase.
Okay.
And render happens when
Oh,
you want to present
wow.
it.
That's all there is in handle present GUI and handle present GUI messages. Just
Yeah, but the magic is up top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But this is a way you could encapsulate your different GUIs into a class and call render and maybe do state changes that way.
So powerful.
And then you could update based on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of ways of coding with Python and whatever's optimal for your situation. So let's go up and see what we're doing here.
All right.
So just like we did with a string,
Mm-hmm.
when we render, we are going to essentially, like we cleared the string last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we started adding X's and O's based on their state. Well, the only thing that's different here is we're going to add text or a button based on that.
Okay.
So let's walk through this. Our current state is whether we have a winner or not, right?
Right. State is, and it calls check winner, and
It's the same check winner as we did with our Tic-Tac-Toe.
last time, yes.
If you're watching the old video and and people ignored the last video because it had nothing to do with Cosmos, this is where the board is done. So you may want to check that video out. So we check the winner, and based on that, we're going to present a whole new GUI based on that. Whether we are presenting the game as it's going through.
All right. So if the state is unknown, that means we don't have a winner yet. We're mid-game.
Yeah.
There are some numbers on the board, and there are some X's and O's possibly on the board.
Yeah. So.
And then
Right. Go ahead.
if it isn't unknown, it doesn't. Instead of presenting the board, it goes through the X wins.
Yep.
If it checks to see if X has won,
Yep.
and it will print X wins at the location 50, 50, 60, 60, and it sends a button, play again, which pulls back replay,
That's the tag.
the tag replay. Otherwise, it checks to see if O won, and it says O wins, and it's got the tag play again, and F is formatted print.
Yes.
Okay. And prints at the same location. Or if it wasn't either of those, it must be a draw. So it says clear and it says draw, and in the same location, and it prompts you to play again.
Yeah. Now let's walk through where we drew the state. That's a little more complicated.
Yes. So we've got a in-game SPS clear GUI Tic-Tac-Toe mission state mission options. So that must be mission state must be an Artemis kind of thing.
It's just like the mission state, or the GUI state that we were doing before.
Okay.
We end up really not using it that much, so maybe it's not necessary now that I look at this. But
Okay.
and then the next thing is we're gonna go through our grid.
All right. So the index is.
This is just like we did with the string.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting each slot in the board, and we're getting the index because we may want to do something fancy with the index. And what we're doing is we're actually calculating the position on the screen based on that index. So the first one, I don't know if the little percent sign, that's a modulus.
Okay.
So we're modding the index by 3 to know which column we're in.
Okay.
And multiplying that by 10 and then adding 30. So we're going to be at 30, 40, and 50%.
Okay.
And likewise, we're going to do that for the y. And you're going to see this magical little syntax of a double divide sign.
What is that?
That's a integer division.
Ah.
So modulus gives you the remainder, and index gives you the integer part of the division. So you don't have to round it or anything like that.
I wouldn't have thought of that. Okay.
Yeah, that's a nice. I've never seen that syntax before. It's kind of nice. And likewise, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a percentage 40, 50, 60.
Okay.
And then go from line 17. You read it.
All right. So if it's X's turn, because P is something we pulled back from our board.
It's the value of the slot.
I'm sorry. Yeah. P is the value of the slot.
Yeah.
So turn.xturn is an X.
Yeah.
If it's an X, if P in this board position is an X, then it sends to the GUI an X. It puts an X there.
Yeah.
Else it checks to see, is it an O? If it is, it draws an O there. If not, it puts a button there.
That's right.
And the button is going to have the index,
Index as its tag.
as its tag.
Now we need to. There is a bug here in the fact that
Let's look at that. Address that bug.
text is not unique. That's why we keep replacing the same text over and over again.
Oh.
And then we move it. So that's why we're seeing that behavior. It looks like it disappears from one place and moves to the other. It's really changing the text and moving it. So we need to make this text unique. So why don't you put an F in front of that text?
All right. F.
And then after the text, put a curly brace index. That should make it an E.
No,
Yeah.
That's not a curly brace. That's a curly brace. Index.
And again, this is a format string, and it takes anything in the curly braces as a value, and it formats it. So it'll be text 0, text 1, text 2, and then the next line do the same thing. These don't have to. These don't have to be unique from each other.
And this goes in the quotes.
Yeah, because it takes everything in that string and formats it. It's really nice. You could have a multi-line string and have all these curly brace values in it, which would be really nice for an endgame screen.
Cool.
So we just fixed our bug.
And so I needed that there. I don't need it down here where I'm just drawing or I'm just saying who won.
Right, because that's the only thing. We're clearing the screen, so that's the only text on the screen.
Well, let's see how this works.
Well, one last thing. Let's figure out how the buttons work, or do you want to just?
All right. No, let's look at how the buttons work. Sure.
So whenever we get a message, we call update, right? And in update, it's going to get a message. It's going to get a message tag. And the only buttons we have on the screen are play again, or up there on line 22.
Or the
buttons for the
buttons
board.
for the board. Yes, the buttons.
Okay, so if it's replay, we're going to clear and replay.
So replay is what I get back if I've clicked play again in any of these spots.
Yep.
In any of those states.
Yep.
And otherwise, it goes to slot, message tag, tic-tac-toe board, set grid slot. So the slot I'm at in my index.
Which I don't know if we've covered that, but that thing, it takes the string and converts it to an integer.
Okay.
I think we did that before in the last one. But we were offsetting the index +1 and -1.
+1, yeah.
We don't need to because the user doesn't see that. So we're not messing with that. So we can just grab that and go.
Gotcha.
And we're also not doing that try catch thing because we're setting that text. So it better be correct. It's not, the user can't change that text. So we don't really need to try it.
Right.
Maybe it's better to put it in there, but we don't necessarily need it.
Because we're using a mouse for input instead of the keyboard prompting for input.
So when they push that button, you get a message tag that has the integer value of the slot they picked, and then it just loops around.
Okay.
And that's all it is to present your Tic-Tac-Toe game that we created last time in the GUI. And we fixed our bug, so let's run it again.
Try it.
And try it.
Here.
Yeah, unfortunately you can't hit go with that.
But this will be fine. Start the server. TTT. Oh no, that's not the one we want. That's Hello World.
Yeah, click there.
GUI. All right, and there's our Tic-Tac-Toe board.
You go
I'll
first.
play X there.
I'll go 3.
And that is now an O, and the X didn't disappear.
Right, we fixed our bug.
All right. And we'll play an X there.
6.
Okay. Well, then I need to play an X there.
1.
Well, then I need to play an X there.
8 then,
All right. And it hasn't realized that no one can win this yet, so I'll click an X there. And it's a draw! And I got my play again button right down where I expected it.
Click it.
And
Play
a new
again.
game board. Only this time, will O go first?
O will go first, so 5.
All right. And I'll take 1.
3.
3. Okay. And I'll take 4.
I'll take 7 and win.
7. And we got O wins message this
you wanted
time.
me to win,
I
right?
wanted,
Yeah, okay.
I wanted to see that message, yes.
All right, let's have X win then.
Well, okay. So X goes first.
2.
All right. Then I'll take 3.
4.
4. And I'll take 7 for the same win. And X wins. Look at that.
So now we're playing Tic-Tac-Toe in the Artemis Cosmos screen, which
Oh.
may seem silly, but it shows you the power that we're presenting different pages.
Mm-hmm.
We're interacting with buttons. We're changing their text, all those things. And that was not a lot of code.
No, it was not a lot of code.
And it's pretty easy to lay it out on the screen.
tremendously more powerful than what we had in Artemis 2.8.
Yeah. But
Okay.
the whole siege and all those parameters,
Mm-hmm.
that'll be done here too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not done now, but all the tweaks of setting how many monsters and how much, dangerous terrain and all that,
Mm-hmm.
that'll all be done through here.
And clients might also set things.
Clients may also set things.
Okay. Well, this has been pretty exciting. What have we got to look forward to next time, Doug?
Well, we could either do the extending this and doing it with clients, or maybe we'll just quickly review that
Okay.
as kind of a review and an extension of this.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we'll start to look at, and it may take multiple sessions to do this,
Mm-hmm.
taking our Tic-Tac-Toe game and having our Artemis ship to be able to play Tic-Tac-Toe games with different stations.
So by stations, you mean space stations that are out there.
Yeah.
We can communicate with them.
Yeah, through
And-
the comms, so we'll learn about how to interact and build scripted comms messages and interact between that. And we'll do that by playing Tic-Tac-Toe with the space stations.
That sounds very exciting. Okay, I'm looking forward to next time. So now I come down to here and hit stop